Hi, welcome to Robyn's Roost. Today we're going to be making a fun seaside tunnel card. So let me just pull in an example and I will show you. So it's got this cool, like you're looking back through a tunnel effect, and it folds flat. You just twist it a little bit to the side to fit into your envelope. So let's just go ahead and flip our camera and I'll show you how to make this beautiful card. So here is the paper that we're going to need. I have 4 pieces of different designs of the By the Bay designer paper, and these are all cut 4 inches square. So pretty simple measurements on that one. And then we have a piece of basic white for the back right-on piece, and this is also 4 inches square. So those are easy to remember. Now for the card base, you're actually going to need 3 pieces. This one is 4 1/4 by 11, and then you need 2 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 5. Now we're going to do some special scoring on these. So we'll pull in our trimmer, push our cutting blade up to the top so that we're not going to accidentally cut, and then we're going to start scoring at 4 1/4, 5 1/4, 9 and, make sure I get this right, 9 1/2, and then 10 1/2. So they're actually pretty easy measurements to remember. We'll set that one off to the side, and then we need to do a little bit of scoring on our 2 inside panels. So for these, you're going to score at 4 5/8. So 4/8, 5/8. I always have a hard time with the 1/8 measurements. And then you're going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side, 4 5/8. This is going to give you your little tabs to glue these pieces in your tunnel. Okay, 4 5/8, 4 5/8. And then we will get this out of the way. Okay, so now let's start by creasing all of our score lines here. Okay, so that's going to make our little box. And we'll go ahead and give these a crease too. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start putting our designer series paper on, and you can decide when you start at this, you're going to decide which way you want them. No, I don't know how to say that, but I want the fish on the top. So like you'll see this one, you're going to see the most of the top one, and then just this little circle of the other ones, and quite a bit of the back. Now on this particular card here, I actually used some a piece of paper that I had watercolored. Just saying, you have lots of options here. So I'm going to go that one first. Well, and these two isn't going to matter at this point. And then this one is going to go inside on this back piece. So we can go ahead, let's start with this one. We're just going to go ahead and adhere these down, getting even edges all around. And when I do these other 3, that one is going to, it's done now. We're done with it. These ones I am only going to glue around the outside edges because I'm going to be cutting the center out for my circles for the tunnel. And I can use those circles somewhere else, right? This paper is too beautiful to toss in the trash, so I'm going to leave that center part unglued so that I can, oh, now it slid on me. Ugh. That's the fun part of, or the nice part of using the liquid glue. You can wiggle them around a bit. Oh, that's my front one. Whew, I was afraid there a minute I screwed up something. Then it's best if you let these sit for a couple minutes before you die cut them, just so that you don't move your papers around. Now you want these all, when you die cut them, you want them all really lined up well. So what I did, since I don't have a very good eye for straight, as anyone who knows me, I made some little templates using my grid paper because it has these wonderful lines on it. So I cut them 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, I think is what I've got them, the size of this space in here. And then I simply lay my circle dies on there and count it out so that there's enough squares on each side so they're even. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this like this, and I'm going to pull in, I'm using the Stylish Shapes dies for the circles. Now if you have a good eye for center, this whole exercise is unnecessary, but I don't. So then I'm going to simply put my die in here, and I actually drew a line around it so that I could make sure I had it in the center. Line everything up and run it through my die cutter so that they're all lined up and I don't have, you know, one here and one there. So I am going to go die cut these and I will be right back. Now for those of you in my Creative Cards Club, you are going to get, your pieces are going to look like this when you start with your kit. They're going to have the designer series paper on them and the holes die cut out. I just did that for you because I didn't know if you had the circle dies. So that way you're all set to make your card. So now we're going to glue all these pieces together. And we're going to start by making sure we have the right ones in the right okay, so the small one in the back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put some adhesive on here and just layer it into the fold here. So you're going to line it up with this crease here, you know, so your back is here and each one of these is going to be lined up. So let's just add a strip of glue. And again, liquid glue works best for this because you can see I didn't have it quite lined up. I can wiggle it down. I'm going to fold that just to make sure I'm not over the edge. There, it moved on me. Move it back. Make sure we're lined up on our edges. Give it a good rub. And then we're going to fold this one back. So then this piece is going to go next here, butted up to this one. So we'll just add our strip of glue. go ahead and layer that next to there, butt it up to this one. And then with the liquid glue, it is always a good idea to let it adhere, right? Give it a few minutes. So then you're going to see it's going to look like this. This is how it will look when it's folded closed, right? And then when you pop it. So now for this side, you can add a strip of glue to each. You have your 2 tabs. I know it's hard to see with everything the same color, but you're going to add just a strip of glue here and then close this part on it and rub it down. So that will adhere those where they belong, so they're nice and flat when you fold them. And you're going to want to give it a minute. Okay. Now you'll see that everything is all spaced out. Now for this edge here, to seal it up, it's your choice. You can either glue it to the inside, because you won't see it here, or you can glue it on the outside, and then your white piece is going to cover it where you write on. I mean, it's kind of it's just your choice. Either way is perfectly fine. So I think my last one I glued on the outside. Here you can see, so you're going to see this little bit here, you know, where the edge is, but then you don't have anything on the inside that you see. Let me do this one the opposite way, and then it can be your choice. So if I put the glue here on the tab, so it depends on, you know, if you want it on the outside, you're going to add your glue on the other side. And then we'll just go ahead and close the card onto it. So now if you look at the card this way, you have that little bit of, you know, the green that you see inside of here. But when you look at it this way, of course, you're not seeing it. And of course, on the back, you don't have that little edge. It's just preference. So then let's go ahead and now stamp on this before you put the paper on. And right now, I am not going to do any stamping on it because I don't know what I want on this one yet. And I'll be very careful stamping on here. Or I might just leave it blank and write on it. A handwritten note is always pretty special too. So there's our large area to write on. And now, of course, let's fold this back. Isn't that cool? Now I have for the very middle, I've got one of the oysters with the pearl, and I have heat embossed it, kind of to match all of our other look, you know, that we've got going here. So, you know, at this point you can decide, it's square, right? So you could have your fish swimming this way or this way, you know, whatever you want. And then we're going to adhere this right down here, and I'm going to actually pop this gal, or this, I don't know, our oysters, gals, guys. I'm going to pop it up with some dimensionals. Come on, bugger. We're just going to pop him into his watery nest. Now for the greeting on the corner here, this is a die also from the Stylish Shapes that I cut this with. So I stamped it with my Versamark and then embossed it with the gold embossing powder. And then after I did that, I first cut one edge, right? Or I first cut the whole thing out, leaving it to where I wanted it on one edge. Then what I did is you can kind of feel where those little holes go, and I nested it back in, and you can see this one is a little bit crooked, but not too bad. And then cut the other edge to make it shorter. So that's one way you can expand the use of your dies by cutting twice, and then you have a little bit different shaped die. So this one, when I put it on there, I thought it needed just a little bit more. So we're going to add a piece of the oh gosh, is it glittered gold? I can't remember the name of this, but some gold ribbon. So I'm just going to glue this on the back first. And then again, it's best if you let it dry for a minute before you put it on the card. Now, when I glue this on here, and of course you can put this anywhere. I think on this one, since I've got this open space up here, I'm going to put it up here on the top. So I don't want to put any adhesive on this corner because it's going to be hanging out. Ooh, that was lucky. It landed glue up. So then we're just going to add this up here with the little tab that I didn't add glue to hanging over. Let's see. And again, for you girls that got my card kits, I actually pre-cut this for you. So you're going to have to stamp, and hopefully you get it straighter than I did on this one. So there is our card. Now there's also some very pretty pearl embellishments. Let me go get those. So I did add some of these in your kits as well for the girls who got the kits. And for those of you who didn't, these are so awesome. They're flat pearls and they're iridescent. They look so much like real natural pearls. And I forgot my take your pick tool. Now everybody kind of uses this tool differently. This is the tip I like for picking up things. There is also a spatula tip, which works great too, just kind of what you're used to. And then there's this adhesive end. So it's got a little dot of adhesive. Some people like to pick up things with that. I do use that for pieces of paper, but I usually like to use one of the scraper ones for the gems so that you get the adhesive scooped up. Now, where the heck should we put our pearls? Let's see. Maybe down here in this corner where there aren't fish. And of course, depending on your paper, you're going to want to put them, you know, where it looks good in your paper. Now I haven't pushed them down yet, so I can pick them up and move them if I want to. I think that would be good. So let's just go ahead and push them down. And our card is complete. So isn't that beautiful? So this is the Seaside Bay stamp set that I'm using here, and the matching Seaside Bay dies, and then I also used the Stylish Shapes dies for this card. So that is what products were used on this. And then the By the Bay designer series paper, it's a 6x6 foil paper, just gorgeous. Hope you enjoyed this card. If you need to purchase any of these products, hop on over to my store and you'll see the link below here. Thanks for stopping by at the Roost.